I'd like to work on some finishing touches for my poster. While the work that I've done so far has given it a little more appeal, it really isn't there yet. I really need to spruce it up some and create more interest. So in this lesson, we'll be going over emphasizing text, creating a list, using a style, and performing spell check. The first thing that I would like to do is put this text in its own little section. I want it to stand out and be apart from the rest of the text. So one way that I can do that is to create a text box. I want to put it in a text box by itself. So I'll give it a little bit of space here. On my Insert tab, I will choose Text Box, and you can see in the text box drop down that there are multiple text boxes that I could choose from. I just want to create a simple text box. Once I do that, I can now select this text, come to the Home tab. I want to cut the text, click inside the text box, and I want to paste. There's a little bit of space down at the bottom here, right in this area. Just hit the backspace key and it'll remove that space. Now there's nothing really fancy about the text in this text box. I want to make the text look different, maybe add a color to the background. So let's work on that first. I've got my text box highlighted. Let's click the Format tab on the ribbon, and you can see that there are many different styles of text boxes available. I'd like to choose one of the styles with color that matches my title, which is good because I have a whole bunch of colors in my title, and just about any one of these text box colors will work. I like the orange though, so I'm going to stick with orange. Now I can move my text box by clicking and dragging. I want to move it out of the way there. Now you can see that there's text behind this text box. If I hit return numerous times, I can make that text move. I think what I would like to do with this text in this section is create a list, because if you read this, it really has multiple things. What has Band Boosters done with membership money? And this paragraph lists several things that the membership money has gone toward. So I would like to create a list. The way that you do that is place your cursor at the beginning of the list. On the Home tab, in the paragraph grouping again, there are 3 different types of lists that can be created. The first one is a bullet list, and you can see that there are several different styles of bullets to choose from. The second is a numbering list, and again there are several different styles to choose from. The third is an outline list. This list does not apply to what I want to do in this poster. This is more for main points and subpoints. I don't have any subpoints for my list. What I think I would like to do, instead of using numbers, I would like to just use a fancy bullet. So actually I'm going to go with the arrow here. So this is my first item. Band Boosters has helped purchase thousands of dollars worth of instruments and equipment. I'll place my cursor here and hit the Enter key for my next point. We'll go down to the next item after the comma, and we'll continue to press Enter to create our bulleted list. We'll do that, and this is our last item. You can see that I have an extra end here. I'll just click there and backspace. And now that is my bulleted list. I don't like the way that there's too much white space here, so maybe I'll click this text box and enlarge it some. That looks a little bit better. And this is a quote. I would like to place this line on the right margin. On the Home tab, in the paragraph groupings, on the alignment section, I can just hit right, and it automatically right justifies this line. Now what I'd like to do is remove the extra space here, and I'd like to apply a style to this title here. Word has given us many styles. You can see in the style groupings, if we click the drop down button here, these are all of the styles that are ready-made for us to apply to our titles. And if you just rest on each one, you can see what happens when you choose the different styles. I think I like to choose something kind of big. We'll do that. We'll go with that style right there. And it kind of stands out. Now we've got another problem. I've got too much space below here. It's created 2 pages. I only need a 1-page flyer. On the Home tab, in the paragraph grouping, if I click the Show Hide button, it shows me what I have going on here. I have extra returns beneath this paragraph. So if I click the bottom and choose Backspace to get rid of the extra spaces, I'm now back down to 1 page. And I can hide my codes now. Now I'd like to emphasize the text that's in this text box up here. I want this to stand out a little bit, so I would like to select that text, and on my Home tab, if I click the drop down for my fonts, I can see all the different fonts that are available and a sampling of what it looks like. But you can see when I rest on a different font that the text changes, and I can get a preview of what my text will look like. Now I want something that stands out, and maybe the font should be a little bit different than the other fonts used in this poster. So I'm going to choose the Georgia font. I want to make it bold. Maybe I should give this a little bit of color here. In the font groupings, I can choose all different types of colors. We'll choose that one. And now that text really stands out. I'd like to put a little more space there. Let's make sure that we're not on 2 pages, and we are. So we'll delete that. There we go. And the last thing I'd like to do is insert a picture. I can go in the Insert tab and choose Clip Art. And choose from any number of band pictures that are available in the clip art. And I'll just choose this one here. Once my picture is inserted, I can move it wherever I'd like. I want it to be right here in my poster, so I will click and drag my text box to make room for my new clip art. Let's see what's preventing this from moving. There we go. Let's turn off our codes and remove the extra returns. The final task for my poster is to perform a spell check. On the Review tab of the ribbon, in the Proofing Grouping section, click Spelling and Grammar, and it begins to run a spell check. You see it's selected this misspelled word, and it gives a suggestion. If you choose to use this suggestion, just use change, and it then moves to the next word that it has found. This is a grammar spell check, and it's suggesting that we capitalize the word purchased. I don't want to capitalize that word, so I will ignore. The spell check began the spell check from the place where my cursor was inserted. Since the cursor was not at the beginning of the document, it actually started the spell check in the middle of the document. Now it is beginning to go to the top of the document. This word is obviously also misspelled, so I will choose to change that. And I will choose that suggestion. And that is the word active. And we will ignore this suggestion as well. And now it's telling us that the spelling and grammar check is complete, and that the text that was marked "Do not check spelling or grammar" was skipped. That is a default setting. And just choose OK. And that concludes this lesson.